Welcome back to What's So Funny, where I interview comedians and get to the bottom of what's so funny. Today I'm talking to Donald Chang, who is an actor, improviser, voiceover artist, teacher, and we talk about the business of comedy, horror films, and what we can learn from it. And besides the rocket launch.
I had a nice breakfast this morning.
Good.
I was like, yeah, this is nice. All right.
Everything is set and you're rolling.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Cool.
All right. Hi, Donald.
Hey, Ryan.
So nice to have you here.
Yeah, it's so nice to be here.
Yeah.
Also very, very fancy.
Yes, I know. Beautiful space. So welcome to What's So Funny. I interview comedians, talk to them about kind of how they got into comedy and everything. So I wanted to ask you here, you were an improviser, you were a voiceover artist, you were
Thank
an
you.
actor, all-around comedian. You do character monologues.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. I guess my first question is, what's the coolest out of all of those?
I guess, the political answer, I guess, is like, I think they're all cool in very different ways. Because I love being like voiceover, because like I was raised on cartoons. I think that was like what got me so excited to like be an entertainer. I was just like, I loved everything about like cartoons. And like also I think as a person of color in the entertainment industry in America, it's like, oh, a voiceover actor lets you play a lot of roles that you wouldn't normally get to play. And then I've also gotten into like audiobooks, so it's like, oh, you get to just do like a whole cast of characters as someone, and like, oh, not something that you usually get to do. So I'm like, oh, cool, I get to finally do a bunch of British characters, robots or creatures. So like, I think that's very cool. Characters are great because like you just get to write your own idea and then highlight that. What do you find specifically funny about certain stuff? And then improv, I think, is really fun because it's like, oh, you just get to create this crazy, insane thing in the moment. And I don't think it transfers to video because everyone is just looking at it, comparing it to everything else I've seen. So I think it looks stupider and low production value. But if like when you're in the room and you realize, oh, these people made this up on the spot without reading each other's minds, and they're able to like make this crazy long story that like fits together perfectly and do these connections and callbacks. I think that is really awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I think with improv, that's one of the ones that it's so difficult to explain to people.
Yeah.
Like what that magic is, and I've had to talk to people who like came to see a show once, and they went, "So what part of it was scripted?" And I went, "None of it."
Yeah.
And they went, "No, but you knew beforehand." And I went, No, that was it.
Yeah. And I think that's hard for a lot of people to wrap their minds around.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes it's hard to wrap my mind around.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Whenever I watch someone else, I'm just like, how did you do that? That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm also excited to have you here. I haven't had a lot of people talk about character monologues.
Oh, sure.
And that's something that I think is really cool. It's a bit more of a niche than some of the others, but I think is so interesting, so great for comedians to look into.
Yeah.
Especially because I don't do stand-up, but I do really enjoy like character monologues.
And I do think that I also have that distinction. Where it's like I started in stand-up a little bit in college, and then I got scared. And then I remember like talking to my stand-up friends recently, being like, yeah, I don't know how you guys do that. That's crazy. And they're like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You got like, as character performers, you're doing the same thing. You just hide behind like, maybe not hide behind. Well, yeah. You like put up like a costume and props and a voice, but it's like so many stand-up characters do that. I heard they call it an act out. So I'm sorry if other stand-ups are watching this and be like, that's not the term. But
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. So like we are doing that. And then I also think like it's weird to explain it to people, but also I think if you're on your phone at all on social media, that's probably most of what you're seeing is like characters.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it. They're just like maybe not doing it to the extent that like someone on SNL or someone on Characters Welcome is doing it. But like you get to see that all the time. And some of your favorite influencers and online and social media comedians are like creating these great characters. So I honestly think it's maybe one of the most prevalent performances, but like no one calls it a character monologue.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, yeah, especially with social media, like you said, that is such a kind of new part of it, I think. So you are also a teacher. Do you teach at UCB? You also just coach?
Yep. Yeah.
What has that kind of been like to be a teacher for people who are kind of coming in, like maybe not having any sort of experience at all?
Yeah. Oh, that's actually my favorite.
Yeah.
Is when people are like, I don't want to be an actor. I don't think I'm funny. I just want to like get out of my house, have like another thing besides work and home. I think those are some of the most fun people to watch because they're not trying to do anything beyond just like explore what they think is fun. And so like, oh, they get some of the most original ideas out there. Whereas like, oh, someone who's like loves improv, they might be like recreating some of the, like their favorite bits.
Right.
And that's not to say that that's bad, but I'm like, oh, it's so exciting to see someone who like is coming at this with none of that experience or background or even the language. And it's great to, I don't know, teach a whole new generation of comedic voices and artists. And it's great to see so many people excited to do in-person theater because it feels like, you know, in this era of AI and technology, I'm like, I do think it's one of the last bastions against that. It's the only place where you can't use that at all. And so I'm like, oh, it's great to see people from all different backgrounds, ages, nationalities. And like, I remember when I was starting to take classes at UCB more than 10 years ago, 2013, I would be like maybe one of the only people of color in a class. And now as I'm teaching, like half of my class is always like people of color.
Yeah.
Half of my class, maybe more, are women. So I'm like, or queer folks. And I'm like, oh, great. There's so many more people that are getting not only who are doing it, but feel comfortable to jump in. Because I do feel like, you know, the world of comedy and also improv specifically just always felt like they have this bad rap. But I think it's from like the early 2000s when it was like, oh, it was a lot of toxic straight white men that would like take over a stage and not be welcoming. And I do appreciate that there's so many people now who are changing that for everybody.
Yeah, I remember growing up and loving Monty Python and Mel Brooks were big ones for me. And also like, whose line is it anyway?
Yeah.
Loving it, but then thinking like, oh, but it's not for me. And so I think it was kind of a big thing to go, oh no, but I still, like, I can do it. I just haven't seen
When did you
a lot of women. I moved to New York in 2021, and so I started taking classes. I waited a while because I still was worried about those spaces of being very, very male dominated and being very, even in like an improv 101 class, I was scared of everyone like knowing more than me or something, even though I have been doing improv since I was like 14. But they're great. I still love, because I've taken some 101 classes at UCB and Second City, and I love going into classes, and it's like a realtor who just kind of wants to do this for fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. Like, I just taught a drop-in class yesterday, which is like, is supposed to be like a little preview for people who are like not ready to just full dive into a full 101. They just want to get a taste. And it was so great to see like, these like 3 coworkers who like all work in an art gallery were just like, we decided to take this class together. And then there were like people who are like, oh, someone was a circus performer. Someone was just a guy who loves D&D. And it was just like all these people jumped in, and then like they didn't know each other beforehand, but they were having so much fun like almost immediately. Yeah. And it was so great to see that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's really fun.
Yeah. I was like, wow. It's really nice to see these like strangers from all over and who have different hopes and dreams, but like all be able to connect over like, oh, we just want to get on stage and, I don't know, work off of each other. Yeah. And that felt cool.
Yeah, definitely. What, as a teacher, what have you learned? Or like what's something that you've learned from that process?
Oh, okay. Yeah. As a teacher, I think I've just learned like so much of how I teach was like, oh, for a very specific kind of student. And then I've like, as I taught more, I was like, oh, there are many more kinds of students that I like have to be not only ready for, but open to. I'm like, oh yeah, the language I'm using is like, directed toward specifically sighted players, like people who have eyesight. And then I recently have a student who is blind. And then I've had students who have like different mobility issues. I'm like, oh, okay. I don't even know if that was the right term, but I was just like, oh, there's like so many other people who are willing to like play and jump in. I'm like, oh, great. I want to be able to like include them. And so sometimes I'll have to like adjust exercises, adjust the language.
Right.
But also still like, great. How can I get this person? How can I challenge this person also with like the different like games and exercises?
Yeah.
And so I think that's something I've been learning is like, oh yeah, cool. We should be welcoming so many more people into this space. I guess we'll come back to this. I feel like there's more answer to this,
Definitely.
but I'm like, I don't know what I'm looking for right now.
Yeah, definitely. What you were here before the pandemic. Do you have any ideas of like kind of how things changed since then? Because I know talking about UCB, I know it was closed for a while, but just like in general, I don't know if you've noticed kind of a big change in things.
Yeah, definitely big change. I mean, just I think the answer everyone talks about right now is like, oh, audiences are they're staying out late. They're not staying out as late as they used to.
Oh, okay.
Like we used to be able to do shows at like midnight or 1 a.m. and people would come out. And now it's like if you have a show at 10, you're kind of on the edge. You have to really work hard to get people to come out.
Yeah.
So I think like that's something different that we're working with and learning to how to like react to. Yeah. I think it was like part of also just like getting people back on board with in-person comedy for a bit. Like I think right after the pandemic, not only was it like just getting audiences to come back, but it was also like training them to like how to react as live audience members.
Right.
Like I think so many people just forgot like how to laugh out loud for a little bit. And so it's like, hey, just like getting them comfortable doing that. And I think it wasn't even that like our shows weren't funny. I hope. I do think like a lot of them would still come up to us after and be like, oh, we love the show. And I was like, then make noise.
Yeah.
then like laugh out loud. then applaud. I don't know.
Yeah.
So like there was a little bit of that. Now I think everyone's comfortable again. That feels good. But yeah, I think there's so much more that has to go into like marketing now. I feel like before you could just make up a crazy show and people would come out because they're just like, I don't know what this is going to be. Let's go check it out.
Yeah.
But now I think maybe it's literally just like the economics of time and money that people are like less willing to like take a risk on a show they don't understand. So like you need to learn how to like, great, how do I explain this thing in a bite?
Right.
We're like, yeah, with the character shows, we have to like we have to define characters at the top of every show and just be like, it's a solo sketch. These are written, but they've been written and prepared for one person and they're going to talk directly to you. And so like people have to get used to that.
Interesting.
Yeah. I also think because of social media and like particularly crowd work videos from stand-up comedians,
Right.
there's like a lot more people are familiar with a very particular brand of comedy. And
Right.
so there are some people who just will talk to you at a show and respond. And then other times people are way too scared to talk.
Yeah,
And so it's
definitely.
like finding, how to clarify that for audiences. So like, now I do want you to speak. Other times it's like, oh, we don't need a response.
Yeah. This isn't a call and response thing.
Yeah. And it'll blow my mind when they are ready to respond to some things. I'm like, oh, interesting. Particularly at improv shows. They'll like, I'll be speaking to a scene partner and someone will respond and I'll be like, all right.
Yeah. Yeah. I was at a show last night and there were two people behind me that were just commenting on every joke that was happening. And I was going, okay.
Yeah.
It was an odd.
That's wild to me.
Yeah.
I hate this part of myself, but as an avid movie theater goer, I am like, what is going on with people in movie theaters? Like people will just straight up talk. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
And they don't understand their volume. They don't understand tone. Where I'm like, hey, we're in the middle of like a really tense moment of this movie. And maybe I'm just picking, I don't know, the movies that all the film bros are bringing their like poor girlfriends to. I just keep sitting next to the person who needs to explain everything that's happening in the movie to their partner.
Oh no.
Yeah, that sucks.
Kind of talking about marketing. Are you a comedian actor full time?
Yeah.
How have you kind of learned the business side of that?
Yeah. Slowly.
Yeah.
And still learning. And I think like it kind of went against all of my personality.
Yeah.
I think I got into improv because I was very shy. I was very introverted. And I think I went into improv specifically so I could get past that and learn how to like speak to people and be comfortable in public. And so like so much of this business is like you got to keep blasting like updates on what you're doing. You got to blast just like pictures of yourself out. You got to just be like, hey, I was like at this event or I have this show. And it's like that feels obvious, but for me, it's so hard.
Yeah.
So I think that's like learning to do that. And then the dreaded word of networking, I think like everyone hates that word because it feels disgusting. And I think it's like, well, it's disgusting if you treat it disgusting.
Right.
If you're just like, hey, everyone wants to like make new friends. And if someone doesn't, cool. You just don't work with that person, I guess.
Yeah.
But like realizing, there's a lot more people who are like really cool in this industry and you just need to make sure it doesn't just feel like you're trying to use people. It's more just like, hey, I like what you do. So I think a lot of it is just like be open to like complimenting people, like letting people know how you feel about their work.
Yeah.
Like DMing them. I mean, be wary of that, but just like DMing them, just being like, hey, I love your stuff. And not even expecting anything to come out of that, but just like constantly like letting people know how you feel about their work or what they're putting out. Because like, that it does feel really nice. And I'm always surprised by like how many times I'll just like send out an email and then someone comes back like almost immediately and they're just like so open to it. Or and obviously I think some people are not going to get back to you and that doesn't mean they hate you. I think it really the big answer is getting over that like what is that, imposter syndrome. We will always have that at every step of this business. No matter how successful you get, there's always going to be a part of you that's like, I shouldn't be here. I'm bad. I don't deserve this. And so I think it's just like either shutting that voice up or developing a stronger voice that says, no, I do deserve to be here. And people like me, obviously. And to say that you don't deserve to be here is actually insulting all your friends and fans that like are supporting your work. It's saying like you have bad taste. It's kind of like, when just someone gives you a compliment in general, you got to learn to be like, thank you so much. I'm really taking that in instead of like just blowing them off or being like, actually, I think I suck.
Yeah.
and I hate this. Because I think that's the thing that gets you further into this is just accepting how good and talented you are and then being able to like work from there rather than like, I feel like every time I make a step forward, I like take 2 steps back to be like, I don't deserve to be here or this is scary and I hate this. And it's like, no, just like accept that you're here and then figure out what the next step is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. And I feel like, I went to school for acting.
Congrats.
And
Where?
At Chapman in California.
Great.
And we had like a business class for it and it felt it was kind of a rude awakening, but also just kind of very harsh on certain things because it was a business side and that's not necessarily why we're in this to begin with.
No.
But it has been not eye-opening, but coming here and learning that process. And again, it's the places I've gotten have come from just the friends that I've just naturally made, and then we enjoy doing stuff together. Yeah.
And it is a rude awakening because it is just like, if you want to get far in this, you need to understand that it's a business.
And I need to be my own business.
Yeah. And you're doing every step of this, being your own accountant, being your own, PR person, and being your own personal trainer. That's also part of it. It's just like, hey, I need to be my own dietitian and take care of myself and like take care of my mental health. Because that's also so much of this business. You can't separate your private life from your work life, because like so much of your work life involves who you are.
Yeah.
And it also is like all kinds of crazy hours. You can't really shut it off. Yeah. So I think that's hard. But I think like once you accept like, hey, the fun, like if you love doing this, you love acting, you love writing, whatever it is, it's like, great. You have to understand that's the perks of this job. That's not the job.
Yeah.
That's the reward. Everything else is the job. And so, yeah, you know, everybody's got to do like eat their vegetables
Yeah.
to earn their dessert.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
It's unfortunate. But I also think like I'm learning from a lot of friends and being inspired by them. But just like, oh, gamify this other stuff. Make it fun for you. So even the marketing stuff, it's like, yeah, I don't know, like make it silly, make it fun. Find your, like, make it into another like bit that you can do. Because I think that can feel rewarding. And also let people know immediately, like, what do you find funny? What can I expect from your work?
Yeah.
Because I also think that's a big part of this thing is like making sure that you find your voice rather than being like, hey, what does UCB want from me? Or what does Second City want from me? What can I do to make myself, you know, that stage worthy? But it's like, no, you need to keep doing what you think is funny. And either they like what you're putting out or you find the space where you will be accepted. Because I do think if you bend over backwards to meet someone else's vision, then when you do get what you want and you get put on that stage, you don't get to have that fun that you wanted to have. You're doing something else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's like recognizing that you're not trying to aim for somebody else's vision of you.
That reminds me, I've heard this kind of quote idiom a lot of when talking about the business side of it, where people will say like, pick someone who you want to be like and then emulate kind of what their path was. And I think that is a difficult thing to figure out.
Yeah.
Especially in comedy, because it's different. It's different for everyone.
And also times change.
Yeah.
So like everything that worked even 5 years ago, people will be like, no, not anymore.
Exactly.
That's not going to work. So I think that's also the hard part right now is like everything is changing so much in crazy ways that like nobody knows what's happening. Like even I'll go into classes with casting directors and there's some casting directors who'll be really open and honest, be like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. And we'll be like, oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. And like, agents and managers, like so many people are like leaving the business or changing, focusing on other parts of the business than they used to. So that isn't to say that it's bad, but I do think like if anyone out there feels lost and confused, I think that's just the state of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That it is kind of reassuring in the way that we all go, oh, okay, there isn't an answer.
Yeah, there isn't.
We're all figuring it out.
Yeah. But I do think like I heard a similar thing from I think there's like a Christian Bale had like an interview where he talked about like, yeah, as an artist, like our job is to and I'm butchering this quote, but he says something about like our goal should be to copy our heroes, but then also change like fix them as well, which is like I guess recreate what we look up to, but then like also make our own adjustments and changes. Because if we only recreate what they're doing, we're going to be a poor echo of something, and we're never going to be as good as that. But if you're like, great, I like this part of them, but I didn't like this part of it, then like, oh, those little changes are what do make you into a great performer, an actor, an artist.
Yeah.
Someone, I guess, if you comment on this, please put the actual quote that he said. It's much better.
This show is all about butchering quotes. I've done that pretty much every single episode.
I think that's comedy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, I had another question.
Yeah, please.
What has been one of your favorite character monologues you've ever done?
Oh, okay. One of mine.
Yeah.
A recent one I've done a bit is just like a guy who needs to touch grass. Yeah, it's just like a tech bro who like is on a hike with his fiance and like decides and like has never touched grass and is so lost up his own ass, but then finally touches grass in the moment and like actually is like touched by God when he touches the grass. And then Eric Fuhrer and then like and my team all like pushed me and heightened this piece into like incredible territory where they were like, oh, what if it's like Watchmen, where you touch the grass and you were like, you get to see all of time and space at once. And so they like suggested like, oh yeah, what if you like see moments from your childhood where like you had these moments where you kind of turned away from nature, where you like got like nature made you sad for a second. So you were like, I'm never going to touch nature or never going to step into nature, appreciate it. And then I got to like actually like find pictures of myself from my past and use that as a slideshow. And I think my sense of humor is like always like, I love talking about sadness. All my characters are really sad. And sometimes I'm worried, like, maybe this is not funny, actually. Maybe it's just sad. I will say people have liked it a lot. And so, yeah, I get to, like, have this, like, crazy existential moment where I see all these little beats from my life. And it was actually just very real. I think everybody pitched, like, really fun ways to word it, but it was just like, oh, yeah. I do live in an apartment that has no art on the walls because I'm scared to make a choice, because I'm scared people will judge me if they ever visit. And I think that does feel like a weird reaction to like, I don't like to be perceived. I don't like to be outside. Something to do with grass. But like, yeah, and that was great. And then I also bought this like little device that like lets me piss my pants. We call it the piss rig. And so
I love the props that we find.
Yes.
As comedians.
Incredible.
Wait,
you said you were at the theater yet? Were you at UCB yesterday?
No,
okay.
I was at the Pit yesterday.
Okay. At UCB, I was teaching a class, and then as soon as I came out, like 2 hours later, there was just a 8-foot tall Chewbacca animatronic waiting in the lobby. And I was like, this must be someone's prop for a show. And I found that it was one of our friends, like, had found it at their mom's workplace and dragged it to the theater, and they were going to drag it all the way home with them. Speaking of crazy props.
Yeah, I've carried around a giant pair of scissors down the street, and I've never gotten stopped more in New York.
Real scissors?
No, they were fake.
Okay, all right.
But they were about 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff. Yeah, having to get on the train with like a big, stupid costume. The weapons, I'm realizing like, okay, cool. I feel like anytime, if you ever have to do a weapon prop for a character in New York and walk around, get the fakest looking thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I think audiences are fine if your gun doesn't look real.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I found these like wooden, they're like rubber band guns, but they're like little models you can make out of like wooden sheets. It's almost like a Lego.
Yeah.
Those are great. Not only is it fun to make, but it looks awesome. And it also looks very fake. So no one's ever going to get scared if they see it.
Yeah. I've started with my sketch group. Just using cardboard to make props. But for gun, there was one show that we had like a gun, a knife, and a shovel. And I was like, if I just have this all of cardboard, I feel like our bases are covered.
Yeah, it feels so much nicer.
Oh, yeah, it does. It really does. And then if you have a bang effect, it's less scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm realizing like, oh, yeah, it's really disconcerting to hear that in a small room. Yeah. And then there was an Eric piece. He made a giant, I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this. He made a giant Labubu costume for a Halloween show that he could wear. And it has working nipples. Like it can actually squirt juice.
Wow.
And he did it at a Halloween show. It has been sitting in the UCB theater in this like one small room for like months. It is also the room where all the UCB improv teams go to for their notes. So and we're always cramped in this tiny room that's then made even smaller because there's a giant monster costume sitting in the corner. Yeah.
That's great though, because the first thing I thought was I could never fit that in my apartment. Where would I keep that?
Yeah. I think that's why he left it at the UCB theater for so long. And I think now it's finally back at his place. But it is ridiculous, all the different things that people drag around for comedy.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So I have a list of questions that I ask everyone on the show. And hopefully through this, we will come to the answer to comedy.
Oh, cool.
Because there's just one answer.
There is one answer.
There is one answer.
Yeah.
All right. So first, what is something that made you laugh growing up?
Ooh, I guess Like I said, I grew up in a lot of cartoons, so I loved cartoons. I think like SpongeBob, and I still quote SpongeBob a lot.
Good.
And like, classic Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry. Something about them, like I don't think I appreciated them enough back then. Now I look back and I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good.
I grew up with a lot of Coyote and Roadrunner, and I've rewatched some of them recently, and I went, yeah, these are still top tier.
They're so good. They're such like great visual comedy. It's like, it's universal, which is crazy. Yeah. And then also Calvin and Hobbes is a comic strip. I'm like,
yes.
I used to think that made me unique. I was like, ooh, I love Calvin and Hobbes. And now I'm like, oh, everyone loves Calvin and Hobbes because it's very good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like that's basically how I learned to read. It was like just like reading those comics. Yeah.
What is something that's making you laugh right now?
Okay. Well, speaking of comics, there's like a web comic that I just will always find online called The Other End by Neil and Marissa Coney. It's just like chaotic. The art is really funny. The jokes are just like, it's not a 3-panel comic strip. It'll just go on and on and on. It'll keep like having twists and turns. So they're always a treat to read. I loved Naked Gun. The new Naked Gun was great.
It really was.
And I loved, just they put so much effort into like really stupid jokes and bits. So I think that was incredible.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared. Have you seen them?
Yeah, I have.
So they have their new series that they released in the UK, and now they're doing a deal with Dropout. I think they're moving on to Dropout in the US. So they're incredible. I don't know if I would fully say that they're comedy, but I do think horror comedy is back.
Yeah, I was going to say dark, weird comedy. Definitely.
Like Weapons is like, everybody, it's a fun movie. So I think maybe that's the thing that's like making me laugh out loud, a lot of those things.
Exciting. There's another movie coming out just kind of with Naked Gun. Stop That Train. There's like a new Apollo movie, and it does look like, again, like old Airplane, just dumb humor just happening at all times.
Camp.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that camp is coming with a vengeance.
That actually, you're right. That does make me, I've only heard about this movie recently, but I'm like, oh, yeah, we can put these movies in theaters.
Yeah.
It'd be so fun to watch with a room full of fans.
Yeah. Let's stop making the Avengers movies. Let's just start making slapstick jokes. Yeah.
Movies that also you can just like watch on its own without having to have this I'm a big MCU fan, and I am unfortunately still trying to keep up, but I am like
you are brave.
No, I think it's stupid. We're stupid. But it's just like, I want to just see like a movie I just get to drop in and watch one of and be like, great, this is awesome. I do think, and I get where the money comes from, but in horror movies, as soon as there's a great one, they're like studios would be like, great, we need 5 of these. Yeah. And I'm like, I think just give the money to that writer and director and just be like, great, just make something else. Yeah. But like also fun.
They made their idea for that movie already.
Yes. Yeah. I'm like, I don't need another one. I love this director, so like I love giving them more stuff. Oh, this isn't comedy. This is just horror again. Yeah. But like the Talk to Me. Did you see that movie?
No.
It's fun. It's horrifying. It's like there's like a mummified hand, and like kids are like bring it to parties because they're treating it like a party drug. And you like shake the hand and it possesses you or something like that.
Okay, I remember the trailer for that.
Yeah. Those guys are like, they're pumping out all kinds of new horror movies, and there are no sequels, at least not yet. There might be a sequel to this coming, but I'm excited for those guys. Every time they put out a movie, I'm like, oh, cool. I'm going to watch the hell out of that. Yeah. And they're all at least, different new ideas. And they're pushing stuff into creepy territory.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of, and just bringing these together with camp, because they're making another scary movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Also, I think, I don't remember if you asked this already or if it was in that list you emailed me, but you asked like, what was your first big laugh?
That was my next question.
Okay. It was the Scary Movie trailer, I think.
Yeah?
The first Scary Movie trailer, I remember just like seeing that in theaters for the first time. Because I also, as a kid, I only recently like horror movie. horror. I hate horror from like my childhood. So the first time seeing that trailer, I was like, oh no, a scary movie. And then it was so goofy. And I think it was my first time ever seeing like a spoof movie. Like, obviously we had like Spaceballs or like Naked Gun before that, but like I don't think I'd seen them or heard of them before. And so this is the first time I got to experience them and be like, oh my God, this is gonna be the funniest thing in the whole world. Right? Like they had like a Matrix bit. And I was like, you could do that? You could just steal someone else's thing and make it into a joke? And so I remember, watching that trailer over and over again.
Finally, and most importantly, what's the secret to comedy?
Oh, I actually wrote this answer down because I feel like I need to think this through before getting here. I think it's suffering.
Yeah.
And not to be pessimistic, but I do think all the funniest people have had to, like, all the funny stuff comes through suffering. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, like major generational trauma. I do think that helps. But I think like,
doesn't hurt.
Yeah, like even, you know, I don't care which comedian you're listening to. It's like, oh, the good ones at least went through something, and that's where their ideas are coming from, because they had to like confront this like overwhelming either sadness or fear, and then the way to deal with that was like, I need to make light of this somehow.
Yeah.
And so I think there's that's it. Like I can't think of someone like, especially is there anyone out there who's like, oh, you didn't have to suffer at all, and you don't have a background in it, you weren't raised in it, that like is particularly funny? I'm like, I think everyone has at least a little bit of it.
Yeah. I always, stand-up special I always recommend to people is Patton Oswalt's Annihilation.
Yeah.
Just because I think it shows that so well, because his wife had just passed away.
Yeah.
And I think that shows that idea of balancing deep tragedy with humor.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't always have to be like great tragedy like that, but I think it's definitely you can't find darkness, you can't have light without the darkness idea as well.
And that is also not to say that like go out there and traumatize yourself.
Yeah.
I think it is just like, oh, every time you even have just like a slight annoyance or something like that, like, yeah, I think that's where you can start, like, that's the seed that'll become into something like funny. Because also it's like, oh, everybody has something they've gone through. And so like that's where you can like really connect with other people too. Just like, hey, didn't this like suck for all of us?
Yeah.
I hate any comedian who tries to like deny that, because I do think it's always annoying.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, you don't have to deny this. Like, just be open and honest about this thing. This isn't what you asked, but I think I particularly hate when comedians are just like, hey, stop canceling me for the jokes I'm making. I'm just like, if that was a good joke and you stand by it, don't blame the audience. Live through that and like make more comedy through that. But I don't like when someone who like makes money off an audience through their jokes is suddenly like, don't be mean to me. I'm like, if you can dish it, you should be able to take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I had to get on my soapbox for a second.
That's okay. I had a teacher once who had us write for do an exercise for sketch that basically was just listing like, I find it annoying when people do this. I find it weird. And like, those are like the small things in life that you're just like noticing in daily life.
Yeah.
That again are just like the small annoyances. But yeah.
I think, and right, that's like most characters are coming from that. We're just like making fun of this goofy thing that we see in real life. Or like we're making fun of ourselves for doing this thing that we're like, I hate that I do this.
Yeah.
And that's always the best. Because then we can all commiserate together, and then like it points at how ridiculous our behaviors are, and hopefully it pushes us to like, maybe I'll change in the future. But so it's like, or if you do go through like a horrible thing, it's like not to say that your life is over after it is like, great, we can make more things from this, and like also be open and talk about those things. I feel like that's incredible when a comedian can, like you said, get find the light in some darkness. I don't know, like Tig Notaro's special, like that's an incredible special.
Right, yeah.
Or like, yeah, Bo Burnham's Inside. I'm just like, wow, these are like iconic pieces where someone like went through something and just said like, hey, I'm going to share this and we're going to connect with other people and talk about this thing. Because I think it helps a lot more people when you talk about this thing.
Yeah, it is. That's what I just think growing up, what drew me to comedy was that openness of people.
Yeah.
That we're just kind of talking about this. And again, making light of it feels much more, adds much more camaraderie to it.
Yeah. And maybe there's just a language thing. And now I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I would say rather than like making light of a thing, it's like, it's not making it lighter necessarily, but it does make it feel like more manageable. Where it's like, oh, it's still going to be sad. I do think, oh yeah, making light of it always feels like pejorative, where it's like, oh, you're not treating this thing as seriously as it needs to. But I think like comedy is like, oh, you're just making it like maybe digestible.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not getting caught in your throat. You're not feeling like I'm fucking choking on this sadness or this trauma. It is like, great, this is part of my processing is like to laugh about little chunks of it, address like how some of it is insurmountable. There's always going to be like a loss where you're like, I am always going to be sad about this thing. But then you can also, I think, maybe appreciate that loss with, I don't know, the joy and the humor. Yeah.
Wow. That was beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And imparting all of your wisdom. I think we got to the secret of comedy.
Wow.
Today.
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you for letting me just blab.
Of course. Yeah. That's what this is for.
Perfect. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Donald.
Thank you, Ryan. Yeah.
Thank you.
I love, it looks so studious too. So when we're talking about comedy.
I know, yes. It's very, we need to be smoking a pipe or.
Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
feels very cigar coated.